Is this what rock bottom looks like for a franchise that was supposed to be chasing championships? Picture this. You're standing at the altar, ring in hand, ready to say, "I do" to the future of your franchise. The music is playing, the guests are seated, and then, BM, your bride runs off with your division rival. That's exactly what just happened to the Philadelphia Phillies, and Dave Dombrowski's response might make you want to throw your remote through the television. The Phillies didn't just lose Bo Bichette to the New York Mets. They lost him after being led to the altar, after making a massive $200 million offer, after Dave Dombrowski himself was so confident that he actually called JT Realmuto's agent to explain they were heading in a different direction. Think about that for a second. The Phillies were so sure they had their man that they were already rearranging their entire roster strategy, planning to pivot to a cheaper catching option, reshaping the future of this ball club around a 27-year-old star shortstop who could inject life into an aging, stagnant lineup. And then the Mets, those insufferable money-printing Mets, swooped in with a 3-year, $126 million deal and ripped the heart right out of Philadelphia's chest. What makes this betrayal even more painful? The Mets had been quietly courting Bichette since November. While Phillies fans were being fed hope and optimism in January, Steve Cohen's empire was already building a relationship behind closed doors. The Phillies were the last ones invited to the party, and somehow still managed to be the ones left standing alone when the music stopped. This wasn't just any free agent. This was the solution to a problem that's plagued this franchise for years. The Phillies have watched their championship window slowly close since that magical 2022 World Series run. They've gotten bounced earlier and earlier in the playoffs each season, and everyone knows why. The bats go silent when it matters most. Bichette represented hope, a young, dynamic force who crushed a 3-run homer off Shohei Ohtani in Game 7 of the World Series. He was the antidote to the postseason offensive anemia that's become Philadelphia's calling card. And now, he's wearing orange and blue, ready to terrorize the Phillies for the next 3 years minimum. Let's talk about what Dave Dombrowski said to the media on Tuesday, because his words are going to echo through Citizens Bank Park like a funeral dirge all season long. "Well, I can't say that we ever thought it was done," Dombrowski explained, trying to manage expectations in hindsight. "But we thought we were very close to having a deal done. We thought it was going to happen. It's a gut punch. I mean, you feel it. That day, you are very upset, I guess is the way to say it. But you have to pick yourself up and shake it off because you can't just wallow in what took place. A gut punch. That's one way to describe watching your division rival sign the player you were this close to landing. But here's where it gets truly maddening for Phillies fans." Dombrowski followed up that admission with perhaps the most tone-deaf statement possible. When asked about pursuing another marquee free agent to fill the gaping hole in this lineup, he said, "We're content where we are." Content. The Phillies just proved with their $200 million offer that they know exactly what's wrong with this team. They identified the problem, they found the solution, they made the investment, and then lost out anyway. And now, after all that, Dombrowski wants fans to believe everything is fine? That this roster, which has regressed in each of the past 2 postseasons, is suddenly good enough to compete with the super team Mets and the unlimited budget Dodgers? Let's examine the historical context here. Since that 2022 World Series appearance, the Phillies have been stuck in neutral, while their competitors have been shifting into overdrive. They lost in the NLCS in 2023, then got bounced in the NLDS in 2024, and now in 2025, heading into 2026, they're running it back with essentially the same core that's proven it can't get over the hump. Meanwhile, the Mets just added Bichette to a roster that's already stacked. The Dodgers? They're the Dodgers. They'll probably sign 3 more All-Stars before spring training ends. The Phillies' championship window isn't just closing, it's slamming shut with the force of a prison door. Bryce Harper is 33. JT Realmuto just got a 3-year deal at age 34, a consolation prize after the Bichette disaster. Tree Turner is locked in long-term. But who's protecting him in the lineup? Who's providing that secondary offensive threat that makes pitchers sweat? The answer was supposed to be Bichette, and now it's nobody. The Phillies still have to offload Nick Castellanos and his $20 million Albatross contract, and there's no clear path to upgrading the roster in any meaningful way. What's perhaps most frustrating is Dombrowski's insistence that he still feels great about our club. Really? Because the actions tell a different story. You don't offer $200 million to a shortstop if you feel great about your current roster construction. You don't call Real Muto's agent to explain a pivot in strategy if you're confident in the status quo. The Phillies front office knows this team needs a jolt, needs young talent, needs something to break the cycle of postseason disappointment. They just failed to deliver it. And now, they're trying to gaslight the fan base into believing everything is fine. Here's the brutal reality that Phillies fans need to confront. This franchise can't outspend the Mets or Dodgers, and they just proved they can't outmaneuver them either. The Phillies were late to the Bichette sweepstakes, got their hopes up, made a competitive offer, and still came away empty-handed because Steve Cohen's Mets had been working the back channels for months. That's not just bad luck, that's getting outplayed by a division rival who's operating on a different level. And what's the plan now? Dombrowski says they're content, which means fans should expect minor tweaks around the margins. Maybe they dump Castellanos' contract. Maybe they add a bullpen arm or a fourth outfielder. But the fundamental problem, the lack of dynamic offensive firepower, the aging core, the shrinking championship window, remains unsolved. The Phillies are running it back with a roster that's gotten progressively worse results each year, hoping that somehow, magically, 2026 will be different. The scariest part? It's realistic to believe the Phillies could actually take a step back this season. On paper, they got worse. They didn't add the game-changing that they desperately needed. Their division got stronger with the Mets' aggressive moves. The Braves are still the Braves. And the Phillies? They're stuck in quicksand, sinking slowly while their front office insists everything is fine. Dave Dombrowski can talk all he wants about picking himself up and shaking it off, but Phillies fans don't have that luxury. They've been watching this team fall short for 3 straight years now, always coming up just a little bit short when it matters most. Bichette represented hope for a different outcome, a chance to inject youth and power into a lineup that desperately needs both. Instead, he's going to be crushing home runs at Citi Field, while the Phillies trot out the same cast of characters who've already proven they can't get it done in October. So, here's my question for you. Can you really trust this front office to deliver a championship, or are we watching a franchise waste the prime years of Bryce Harper's career? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below, and if you're as frustrated as I am right now, smash that like button, because Phillies fans deserve better than being told to be content with mediocrity. This is supposed to be championship or bust territory, not participation trophy season. Let's talk about it.